Well, I'm looking up the driveway from the town road, Shop Hill Road, which is also gravel. And as you can see, the driveway is all wet, but this is after about 40 minutes of work with the new box blade on our tractor. And well, I think it did a fairly decent job. I'm pretty happy with it. The potholes were so huge and so deep, there was no way they were ever going to drain out or dry out unless we had a couple of weeks of dry weather, but we have more rain on the way. So although it's not ideal for box blade work, it didn't matter. I just went over it anyway, and I knocked down a lot of the high spots, and I got rid of a lot of the water, so you don't see the big huge lakes that we had in the driveway. And the potholes aren't as deep now, they're just little bumps, not big deal. And when this dries out, I'll be able to go back over it again and do some serious work with the box blade. But boy, it really works well. I'm really impressed with it. I'm really glad that we purchased it, and it's really going to clean up this driveway and make it look really nice. When it's nice and dry, I'll be able to go over it, and within a couple of hours of work it should be just like new. Well, today is Wednesday, September 7th, 2022, and the beginning of the week we had a couple of days of very heavy rain, and last week we had some more rain before that. Ground was pretty well saturated, and the problem with the driveway is that we have such large potholes, really big craters. They were completely full of water. They look like small ponds, a number of them. And I got the new box blade all hooked up, the new Homestead Implements box blade that we got a little while back, a few days back. And while using it in mud and with all that water is not ideal, the idea was let me go over it and knock down some high spots, spread the water out so it'll dry faster, because those potholes are so deep that, I mean, it would take a couple of weeks for those to dry out if we had a couple of weeks of dry weather. And this time of year we get rain quite often, so there's no way it would ever dry out. So it was actually quite successful. I was surprised. Just moving around a bunch of mud and everything and water, spreading it out. And so today the sun is out. It didn't rain last night, so I know there's some been drying going on, so I'm going to take a walk down the driveway and see how well it's dried out. And if it's still a little bit muddy, I can wait another day or two, probably two, because tomorrow on the 8th I have to travel, and I'll be gone most of the day with some things I have to do, so maybe Friday might be the day if there's no rain. And so let's go take a look, see what it looks like. So I'm walking down the drive now. I'm taking a look here to see what it looks like. And there's still some standing water here and there. I didn't get rid of all of it, and there's still a bit of mud. So I'm thinking that maybe today is not the best day. Yeah, there's still a lot of mud there, still some low spots with water. Yeah, so it still looks pretty wet, but it's not as bad as it looked yesterday. And it's exposed a few big rocks. There's one right here I have to dig out. This driveway was made with what they call bank run gravel, and you know, so it has a lot of bone in it, and it's just a combination of sand and clay and rock. And I think I need to bring some more in and build it up, because you know, this driveway hadn't been touched in since we first put it in 18 years ago, so it's pretty rough. And although I took down a lot of high spots, you can still see, well, I don't know if the camera picks it up, but there's still plenty more. It's fairly high. It's not a very level driveway, but it never was. Even when it was first put in, it just followed the contour of the land, really, up and down. And So it does need a lot of work, but the way that box blade worked yesterday, I'm pretty confident that it's going to do the trick. I'm going to let this dry out some more. But right where I'm walking now, I mean, right here that I'm aiming at, that was just a pond. And the water's out of it. It's still muddy, it's still wet, and there's still water, standing water here and there, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. I really took a lot of that out. And so, just looking around here, this box blade really did a great job. But it's still going to take a couple of days. I need to dry this out. And then what came out of the box blade was just a bunch of soft muck. And then I took the loader bucket, you can see here along the sides, I pushed that over to the side. And when that dries out, then that can be spread out somewhere, but for now it's just soupy muck. And so now we're here at the town road, the end of the drive, and so we'll look back up the driveway, and now the sun reflection shows a lot of the wet areas. But this really, a lot of high spots here in the lower part of the drive got knocked down, the water got moved out. This is where most of the standing water was, down here. And so that's, all that big water was moved out, scraped right out. I'm pretty happy with that. So we're gonna let it go for a couple of days. Up here we get, so you don't get any sun here, and that's part of the problem. And of course up here we get plenty of sun, and so that dries out much faster. It's still a bit damp, but it is drying out. So I don't think I'm going to do any box blade work today. I want it to dry out some more, get rid of this water. Like I said, the rest of the day, it's a clear sunny day, and I think that'll help dry it out some more. The humidity's not as high. I think tomorrow's going to be the same, and providing that Friday is cooperative, the weather, and I'll be able to get out and maybe do a little bit more work. And then I'll try to get some of that on video. And here's a problem right here, this corner. It's still pretty soft, muddy. It needs some more fill. Just the box blade itself, you know, dragging the dirt over and filling it up, I think I need to bring in more. And actually, if I could afford it, I'd bring in some crushed stone. So you can see she got a little bit dirty. Not as pretty as she was when I first got her, because she's got a little bit of mud and dirt all over her, but still doesn't look too bad. And so I think the tractor's just going to sit here for a couple of days.